Hello everybody, Patrick Costas here. Hope everybody's okay. I got a lot of news to get to today, so let's go ahead and get started. President Trump stepped up his strong language against North Korea today. This is what he said.
Any questions?
Mr. President, the North Koreans said yesterday that your statement on Tuesday was nonsense. That's the word that they used. Do you have any response to that?
Well, I don't think they mean that, and I think it's the first time they've heard it like they heard it. And frankly, the people that were questioning that statement, was it too tough? Maybe it wasn't tough enough. They've been doing this to our country for a long time, for many years. And it's about time that somebody stuck up for the people of this country and for the people of other countries. So, if anything, maybe that statement wasn't tough enough. And we're backed by 100% by our military. We're backed by everybody. And we're backed by many other leaders. And I noticed that many senators and others today came out very much in favor of what I said. But if anything, that statement may not be tough enough.
What would be tougher than fire and fury?
Well, you'll see. You'll see.
Mr. President, is one of the options being considered a preemptive strike or strike?
But we don't talk about that. I never do. I'm not like the other administration that would say we're going into Mosul in 4 months. I don't talk about it. We'll see what happens. But I can tell you that what they've been doing and what they've been getting away with is a tragedy, and it can't be allowed.
Mr. President, do you ever consider negotiations under different circumstances?
Sure, we'll always consider negotiations, but they've been negotiating now for 25 years. Look at Clinton. He folded on the negotiations. He was weak and ineffective. You look what happened with Bush. You look what happened with Obama. Obama, he didn't even want to talk about it. But I talk. It's about time. Somebody has to do it. Somebody has to do it. It's not a dare. It's a statement. Has nothing to do with dare. That's a statement. He's not going to go around threatening Guam, and he's not going to threaten the United States.
Also today, North Korea announced its intentions to launch 4 missiles near Guam around mid-August. Connected with that, I believe, is a message that came out in a Chinese state newspaper today that said, if North Korea launches an attack that threatens the United States, then China should stay neutral. But if the U.S. attacks first and tries to overthrow North Korea's government, China will stop them. So, this is a very important statement, and it's also very important to consider where it came from. So it came from a communist government, controlled, party-controlled newspaper. So they typically use this as a way to kind of send warnings and things like that. But the beauty of it is, it's not like it came from the foreign minister, premier, whatever, of China. It came from some communist newspaper. So it doesn't really paint them into a corner or force them into any certain path or anything like that. They can obviously say, well, that was a newspaper, that was never state policy. So it's actually kind of a good sign. Then when you read the statement, it actually kind of fits with what is going on here, where North Korea is talking about launching 4 missiles supposedly near Guam. They're supposed to fall like 20 miles, or around 20 miles short or something like that. Like we can trust that. Like we can trust North Korea is not going to put nukes on these things. And we can't. And no responsible political leader or president or anybody else could take that risk. So this is, China's, I think in a way, is trying to tell us that, if they actually do this and launch these things at you, yeah, go ahead and do whatever you have to do. So they're kind of leaving the regime out to dry. So it is kind of a positive sign, at least this part. It doesn't mean that their mood isn't going to change all of a sudden. But as of right now, I don't look at this as such a big deal. I think that they're kind of showing that their patience is running out with North Korea. The stock market is not doing that well in Asia. That's going to start affecting China's economy, which is pretty much all they care about. So I assume they're going to start being a lot more useful to us with the North Korea problem. But the biggest question is, what are we going to do if they do launch those missiles? Or should we even wait for them to launch these missiles supposedly in the middle of the month? Which is ridiculous to take their word for that. Also, they could launch them right now. I mean, who knows? So I don't trust Kim Jong-un, and I'm pretty sure President Trump doesn't either. So I don't think we're going to take his word for it. So what do we do if we don't strike first and he launches those things? Do we shoot it down? I would say, yeah, we have no choice. We have to shoot it down. And then what if we miss? and it does, let's say it does hit its target 20 miles, short of Guam, it makes us look incompetent. And it almost, necessitates a strong reaction from us. Or do we shoot it down and do massive retaliation with nuclear weapons? We've all heard what President Trump said, and he's hinting at something very, very destructive. Fury and fire, today saying, or fire and fury, whatever he said. And then today, he's saying that, maybe that wasn't strong enough. So, I kind of wonder, what he's got up his sleeve. Another possibility is just pinpricks there, to hit certain key targets, maybe where we suspect our nuclear stuff to be, or things like that. Or we could do massive airstrikes with cruise missiles, B-1s, B-2s, everything we have, and take out everything we can, and just let the chips fall where they may. Those are just some of the options. I'm sure there's plenty more. Those are just 4 I came up with real quickly here. Basically, Trump has announced his red line. If they launch those missiles or anything like that, overshoot Japan, anything like that, I think there's going to be a real good possibility that we're going to go to war. So, being that North Korea hasn't backed down on anything, and I don't see any likelihood that they will back down, this pretty much commits us to a war. If something else doesn't change drastically, like Kim Jong-un wakes up with a different personality, or China somehow intervenes, in my opinion, we will be at war probably within 10 days. That's my opinion. That's what I think. I've been talking to, or my spouse is South Korean, I think I've mentioned, and she's been talking to her relatives back in Korea, and a lot of the South Koreans are not scared at all. They think it's all a bluff, and they're so used to North Korea acting up and playing this threat game, they just think it's the same old nonsense. I tried to impress upon them. I think this time it's a little different. North Korea's never had the capacity for destruction that it has right now, and we've never had a president like Donald Trump. And I think that there's a good possibility, in my opinion, that we will be at war fairly soon, barring some unforeseen big change. But that's what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments below. This has been Patrick Costas.